Hello, and thanks for joining me in the garden this week. Before I get to what I'm actually updating, I wanted to show what the rosemary is doing indoors. So even though it's in a warmer area, it is still dying back for the winter season. I have some greenery on it still, but for the most part, the rosemary isn't doing too hot. And this was rosemary that was purchased last summer. I never planted it, I just purchased it to see whether I could keep rosemary, and it doesn't look like it is doing too great, but I just think it's dormant and we'll see what happens in the spring. This video is actually going to be about how I am separating the pups from the pineapples and what I am planting them in. So I have a mixture of succulent soil, cocoa coir, worm castings, bone meal, garden tone fertilizer, and perlite. I'm using an additional amount of perlite again, as I don't have sand to make it a more sandier loam, so I use a bit more perlite in the mixture than normal. Not all of the pineapples are going to end up getting up potted or separated. Like this one, it does have a pup on it. It's small, but the container that it's in is also small. I'm concerned about root growth and it being stunted. So I'm just going to up pot this one. I'm not going to remove the pup until it gets larger. Through some research, I've seen that it's better to let the pup stay on until they're about 6 to 8 inches in height themselves. So this one isn't going to be removed. They're just going to get a new home with some freshened up soil. This elite gold pineapple was one of the victims of the acclimation error that I had, and when this plant died back, it regenerated as 3 separate plants. I'm going to completely remove all 3 from the current pot and give them their own smaller pot, since it doesn't look like the main stem survived, although it did sprout off additional ones. So each of these are going to get a new refreshed home, and the process is similar to what I just did with the previous one that I didn't separate the pup. As I pull the pieces from each other, I am trying to take some root tissue with each of the sides. It doesn't always work, and just as with planting a pineapple top, even if it's the tiniest root, it is helpful. In separating all 3 of these pineapples from each other, I was able to get root tissue to go along with all of them, so that lets me believe that I'll be a bit more successful after the transplant, as they won't have to regrow a whole new root system. The plant that was in my right hand, I think, was the leftovers of the original plant, because it has the base to it where you can see where it has that older dried up leaf tissue, whereas the other ones are all green and healthy looking. So maybe that is what is left over from the older plant. This particular pineapple plant is just an overachiever in pups. I've removed pups from this one before, and to find that it had 3 more pups on this one again is impressive. This pineapple is definitely interested in putting off pups. Hopefully it'll be as vigorous with fruit production once it gets to a mature size. On this particular pup, I did not get a lot of root tissue, so I'm anxious to see if this one will actually root and take hold. And after removing the 3 larger pups off of this one, I saw that there was a smaller one as well. So it actually had 4 offshoots on it. Not going to remove that one because that one is super tiny. Going to leave it on there again and hope that it gets to a size of about 6 to 8 inches as well. But I am just pushing down the material that's in this bag because it wasn't really compact. It was kind of loose, and other succulents prefer the tightly packed soil, so I did the same to this. And then the repotting process was exactly the same as the potting up process for the other ones. I am excited to see what the future holds for the pineapples. If I add up everything, I originally started with 7 pineapples. The acclimation issue cut me down to 5, although I had had about 9 or 10 from the pups that I removed prior to putting them out. Now I have about 13 plants again in various stages. I don't think that I need 13 pineapple plants given how productive they seem to be in putting out pups. So I'm probably going to gift some of these off to family and friends. But it'll be interesting, and I really hope that in this climate I can actually get a pineapple. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.